My brothers and sisters, today I want to talk about something very close to the hearts of all of us. Relationships. Whether it is between a husband and wife, between parents and children, or between friends and family, relationships are a trust from Allah. And when we don't understand this trust, we break hearts, we lose peace, and we distance ourselves from the mercy of Allah. A relationship is a trust from Allah, and a manner that must be honored, protected, and nurtured. Too often, people treat their relationships casually, forgetting that when Allah brings someone into your life, whether as a spouse, parent, child, or friend, He has given you a responsibility. It is not just about love or emotions, it is about accountability. On the day of judgment, we will be questioned about how we treated the people entrusted to us. Did we respect them? Did we fulfill their rights? Did we hurt them knowingly? Or did we uphold the dignity of the relationship? Many marriages break because people forget this fundamental concept. A husband forgets that his wife is a trust from Allah. A wife forgets that her husband is a trust too. Parents sometimes fail to understand that their children are not just theirs by blood, but also a responsibility given by the Almighty. When we mistreat, neglect, or abuse those around us, we are violating that trust. This is not just a worldly problem, it becomes a spiritual issue as well. The Prophet Muhammad was the best example of how to handle relationships. He treated his companions, his family, and even his enemies with justice and compassion. He never broke the trust of anyone, even when he had every reason to retaliate. That's what made his relationships meaningful. He understood that every human being is a soul created by Allah, and therefore must be treated with care. In our modern world, relationships are often seen as temporary or transactional. People value each other based on benefit, status, or convenience. But Islam teaches us otherwise. Islam teaches us loyalty, sincerity, and care, not because of who the other person is, but because of who we are and who Allah is. If we truly understood that our spouse, friend, or parent is a trust from our Creator, we would be gentler with our words, more patient with our actions, and more present in our hearts. So ask yourself, are you honoring the trusts in your life? Are you building your relationships with the awareness that Allah is watching? Because if you are, then your relationships will not only bring peace in this world, they will also be a means of reward in the hereafter. Communication with respect is the foundation of any strong relationship. It is not just about speaking, it is about how you speak. Many relationships fall apart not because love is missing, but because respect in words and tone is lost. You may love someone deeply, but if your words constantly hurt them, if your tone belittles them, that love becomes a wound rather than a comfort. In Islam, respectful communication is not just encouraged, it is a requirement. The Prophet Muhammad, even in times of disagreement, never raised his voice in anger or used harsh language to humiliate or degrade. His example teaches us that true strength lies in controlling the tongue, especially with those closest to us. In relationships, misunderstandings are inevitable, but the difference between healing and breaking comes down to how we talk to each other. When one speaks with ego, pride, or sarcasm, the other person feels unseen and disrespected. But when we speak with calmness, humility, and compassion, hearts begin to open. Sometimes just listening attentively without interrupting can solve more than 1,000 arguments. But sadly, many of us listen to reply, not to understand. Respectful communication also includes the words we use in private. What you say behind closed doors matters more than what the world sees. It's easy to act respectful in public, but how you speak when no one is watching reflects your true character. Even in moments of anger, Islam teaches us to hold back hurtful words. The Prophet said, "If you have nothing good to say, remain silent." That advice alone can save countless relationships. Also, respect in communication does not mean you agree on everything. It means you disagree without demeaning, you express your feelings without raising your voice, you correct without crushing. That is the beauty of Islamic etiquette. Even when we differ, we maintain dignity. In our relationships, let's ask ourselves, are my words building love or breaking hearts? Am I speaking to be right or speaking to be kind? Every word carries weight, and once spoken, it cannot be taken back. So choose your words carefully. Build your relationships on the solid foundation of respectful, kind, and honest communication. Because where there is respect, love will grow, and where there is disrespect, love will wither away. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is strength that sustains love and peace. In a relationship, no matter how close or deep, there will be moments of hurt, disappointment, and misunderstanding. That is the nature of human interaction. We are imperfect, we make mistakes, we speak in haste, and sometimes we fail to meet each other's expectations. But what keeps a relationship alive is not the absence of mistakes, It is the presence of mercy. When you choose to forgive, you are choosing to rise above your ego. You are choosing peace over pride, and healing over hatred. And this choice is not a sign of weakness. It is a powerful act of faith. The Prophet Muhammad forgave those who hurt him the most, those who mocked him, oppressed him, and even attempted to kill him. Yet, he let go of personal vengeance, and instead, he prayed for their guidance. If he could forgive such deep wounds, what about us? Why do we struggle to forgive the smaller things? A harsh word, a forgotten promise, a moment of anger. Often, it is because we confuse forgiveness with allowing injustice. But forgiveness does not mean you ignore harmful behavior. It means you release the burden of hatred from your heart, while still standing up for what is right. In relationships, holding on to grudges is like holding a burning coal in your hand. It only burns you. When we keep replaying the pain in our minds, we poison our present and destroy our peace. But when we forgive, we make space for love to return, for hearts to soften, and for relationships to heal. That doesn't mean forgetting or pretending nothing happened. It means acknowledging the pain, learning from it, and moving forward with grace. Sometimes, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for yourself. It frees your heart from bitterness and opens the door to emotional and spiritual growth. It teaches humility, patience, and compassion. And in the eyes of Allah, it is an act of worship. He says in the Quran, "Let them pardon and overlook." Do you not wish that Allah should forgive you? If we want Allah's mercy in our lives, we must be willing to show mercy in our relationships. Because only with forgiveness can love survive, and only with love can peace remain. Your character in private defines the truth of your relationship in public. Many people put on a show of kindness, affection, and respect when others are watching, but the real test is how they behave when the doors are closed. What kind of spouse are you when no one is looking? What kind of parent, child, or friend are you in moments that are hidden from the world? This is where sincerity is truly measured. Islam teaches us that the most beloved actions to Allah are those done with purity of heart, without seeking recognition or praise. The same applies to how we treat people. If we are only respectful in public to maintain an image, but harsh, cold, or neglectful in private, then our relationships are built on deception, not sincerity. The Prophet Muhammad displayed the highest level of character, not just in public gatherings, but especially in his home. His wives described him as gentle, helpful, and considerate. He never belittled them, never raised his hand, and always treated them with dignity. This was not for the sake of appearances, it was a reflection of who he truly was. That is the standard we should strive for, being genuinely good even when no one is watching. Sometimes, people behave kindly in public just to gain favor or to be seen as righteous. But what benefit is there in being praised by people, if the ones closest to you feel neglected or unloved? It is far more valuable in the sight of Allah to be respected in your home than to be admired in the streets. Relationships flourish not because of what the world sees, but because of what is felt in the heart. And hearts respond to honesty, kindness, and consistency. Our private character is where our true selves are revealed. If we are sincere in our love, consistent in our patience, and honest in our behavior, our relationships will naturally become stronger and more peaceful. But if we rely only on image and performance, the cracks will eventually show. Allah knows what we hide and what we reveal. So let's make sure that our private actions match our public image. That we are just as kind, just as respectful, and just as loving in the unseen moments as we claim to be when everyone is watching. Because that is the true foundation of any meaningful and lasting relationship. Shaytaan targets relationships. Protect them through prayer and patience. One of the most powerful ways Shaytaan causes destruction in our lives is by creating conflict between hearts. He whispers doubts, fuels misunderstandings, and amplifies ego, making small issues seem enormous. The closer a relationship is, the more effort Shaytaan puts into breaking it. This is especially true in marriages, families, and close friendships. Why? Because when love, mercy, and harmony exist between people, it reflects the mercy of Allah. Shaytaan despises that unity, so he works hard to divide. The Prophet Muhammad told us that the most beloved achievement of Shaytaan is when he succeeds in separating a husband from his wife. That shows us how serious this threat is. When arguments happen, tempers rise, and communication breaks down, we must realize that Shaytaan is working in the background, encouraging anger and pride. And if we give in to those emotions without self-control, we are giving him exactly what he wants. This is why patience is so crucial. It's not weakness. It's your defense against the evil that seeks to destroy what Allah has blessed you with. Prayer is another powerful shield. When two people pray together, Ask Allah for peace and seek His guidance. Shaytaan loses his grip. A couple that prays together, forgives each other, and involves Allah in their decision-making stands on solid ground. Remember, Shaytaan thrives in the absence of remembrance. The less dhikr, the more drama. The less prayer, the more pride. The less connection with Allah, the more space there is for ego and anger to grow. Patience is not just about remaining silent during an argument, it's about choosing to react with wisdom. It's about thinking before speaking and remembering that preserving the relationship is often more important than winning a point. When you are patient, you are not weak. You are being guided by the Sunnah. You are fighting the temptation to break what Allah wants you to protect. So whenever things become tense, remind yourself Shaytaan is working hard. But you can work harder through patience and prayer. Protect your relationship like you would protect a valuable treasure, because that is exactly what it is. If you value your peace, your love, and your connection, then do not allow the enemy to enter your home through anger and pride. Guard your relationship with taqwa, and Allah will guard it with His mercy. A good relationship should bring you closer to Allah, not further away. One of the most important signs that a relationship is healthy and meaningful is that it strengthens your faith. Whether it is a friendship, a marriage, or even a family bond, its purpose is not only emotional comfort but also spiritual growth. Allah places people in our lives to support us, to remind us of our purpose, and to help us stay on the path of righteousness. If a relationship distracts you from prayer, pulls you into sin, or fills your heart with darkness, then you must pause and reflect, is this person leading me closer to Allah or further away? True love in the Islamic sense is when two people encourage each other to grow in faith. A righteous friend will remind you to pray, will advise you when you're wrong, and will celebrate your efforts to become a better person. A sincere spouse will not just love you for your looks or your status, but for your connection with Allah. They will be your partner not just in this world, but in striving for Jannah together. This is what makes a relationship valuable. It nurtures both the heart and the soul. Sadly, many people today build relationships based on shallow things, appearance, wealth, status, or temporary feelings. But when the tests of life come, such relationships collapse. Only relationships built on sincerity and spirituality endure hardship. When both people remember Allah, they become humble. They seek forgiveness quickly. They care more about the health of the relationship than about feeding their egos. That is the power of a relationship rooted in faith. Also, we must ask ourselves if we are helping others grow closer to Allah. Are we encouraging or discouraging their spiritual journey? Are we helping them become better or dragging them down with negativity? Relationships are two-way streets. We must give what we hope to receive. If we want someone to help us on the path to Allah, we must also become that kind of person. So the next time you evaluate a relationship in your life, don't just ask, does this person make me happy? Ask, does this person bring me closer to my Creator? Because any connection that disconnects you from Allah is not a blessing, it's a test. And any relationship that deepens your love for Allah is one worth keeping and cherishing. My beloved brothers and sisters, as we come to the conclusion of this reflection on relationships, let us remind ourselves that every connection we have in this life is a test, a blessing, or a trust from Allah. Relationships are not just about emotions, words, or time. They are about responsibility, character, and spirituality. When we honor the people Allah has placed in our lives, we are in fact honoring the command of Allah Himself. When we break hearts, abuse trust, or allow ego to destroy love, we are not just harming others, we are harming our own souls. We learned that relationships thrive on respect in communication, on sincere private character, on the strength of forgiveness, and on the shield of patience and prayer. Shaytaan works tirelessly to destroy these bonds, but we must work harder to protect them, not just for our worldly peace, but for our success in the hereafter, because the way we treat people will be part of our reckoning with Allah. The ultimate goal is to build relationships that draw us nearer to our Creator. A true relationship uplifts your heart, increases your faith, and brings you tranquility. And remember, Allah is Al-Wadud, the most loving. He knows your efforts, your sacrifices, your silent patience, and your sincere love. When you maintain relationships for His sake, even if people don't see or appreciate it, Allah surely does. And He will reward you in ways that no one else can. So let us strive to become people of compassion, humility, forgiveness, and strength. Let us fix what is broken, cherish what is still whole, and seek Allah's guidance in every connection we hold. May Allah grant us relationships that are full of barakah, that help us grow in deen, and that become a means for us to reach Jannah hand in hand. Ameen.